Back in the heyday, Marvel and Disney would hold somewhat back on paying their stars, as the assumption was that the increased profile would bag them other high-profile, high-paying roles, so they should just be grateful for the Disney gigs. No one is grateful for that anymore though, and now, within a very short time frame, a number of high-profile talents have come out publicly to address how their Disney stint did not work out as expected. Let's see how. Let's start with one of the modern-day Disney girl bosses, namely Bo-Katan Kryze, played by Katee Sackhoff of former Battlestar Galactica remake fame. She has a podcast of her own, and there may be a reason for that, as we shall see, and what she said even got Variety's attention, who did a write-up on it, titled, "Mandalorian star Katee Sackhoff basically didn't work for 3 years after Star Wars show because she didn't understand her character. It broke me." Wow. The piece proper reads, "The Mandalorian actor Katee Sackhoff, who starred as Bo-Katan Kryze in the Star Wars show, has opened up about the struggles she had playing the character and finding work in the last few years." On a recent episode of her podcast, The Sackhoff Show, she discussed with her former Battlestar Galactica co-star Tom O'Pennicott how playing Bo-Katan on The Mandalorian dealt a blow to her confidence. She said, "I lost all my confidence after Mandalorian. All of it. I've always played 2 steps removed from myself, in a sense. It always felt grounded in some part of my belly, of who I was. Bo-Katan is nowhere near who I am as a human being. Her life, what she wants, I didn't understand her. As much as I understood her, I never felt her in my stomach. I never identified with her. I didn't know how to find her," she said, adding, "My style of acting has always just been, your first instinct is the right instinct. Do that. Play the reality of the situation, and I've never really played a character." Implication being, in non-actor speak, she could identify with all her other characters, but not this one, so here she had to act, and she didn't like it. So nice going, Dave Filoni, because that would be on him more so than Jon Favreau, for Bo-Katan is one of his. And that the actress isn't able to connect with this role when she never had problem doing so before suggests something is very wrong with the writing, which should come as no surprise, especially from season 3 onwards. The write-up continues. "It broke me. It just broke me," Sackhoff said. "I started doubting everything about myself. I'm not a strong auditioner on tape. And I was having to put myself on tape. I wasn't booking anything. And for 3 years, I basically didn't work, and it just destroyed my confidence." Here, it should be noted that there could be other reasons why she didn't work for those 3 years as well. There's simply going to be fewer high-profile roles available in that age group, and tougher competition for those that are. But her losing her confidence and subsequently blowing one audition after the other isn't likely to help, to put it that way. And she isn't the only one with a bad experience working for Disney though. Kumail Nanjiani had one too in Marvel's Eternals. This comes to us from comicbookmovie.com, who in their coverage of Mike Birbiglia's podcast writes, "Eternal star Kumail Nanjiani reveals the shocking number of MCU projects he signed up for as King Go. Projects that clearly did not come to pass and at a steep mental price for him." The write-up reads, "When Eternals was released in 2021, it became Marvel Studios' first rotten movie. Between that and the fact that it dropped during the final months of the lockdowns, the Chloe Zhao-helmed blockbuster struggled to make its mark at the box office, grossing only $402 million worldwide. And jumping forward a bit, 4 years later, Marvel Studios still hasn't announced plans to resolve the movie's big cliffhanger. As a result, it's unclear when or where we'll learn what became of the Eternals taken from Earth by Arishem for judgment after their role in stopping Tiamut's emergence. There are, however, some pretty intriguing rumors doing the rounds this week about this team's MCU future, so we'll see. That, of course, is the editorial opinion of Comic Book Movie only, who are referencing rumors that the Eternals could be revisited in the X-Men era, so they can bring that down as well. As you can hear, I am not intrigued by those rumors because I freaking hated that movie. But moving on, the write-up addresses what the once Kingo actor said. It came out right after the lockdowns, so I had a year and a half at home to be just like, when this thing comes out. Nanjiani said of his excitement for the world to see the movie, and the expected impact it would have on his career. It came out, it got really bad reviews, and it didn't do that well. It shattered me too much. That's when I was like, oh, I need to go to therapy to figure this out. The Obi-Wan Kenobi star went on to reveal what his MCU future looked like when he first boarded the franchise. I was like, this is going to be my job for the next 10 years. I signed on for 6 movies. I signed on for a video game. I signed on for a theme park ride. They make you sign on for all this stuff. You're like, okay, so I'll be doing Marvel movies every year, and in between, I'll do my own little things, whatever I want to do. None of that happened, he noted. For me, what really hit me was realizing that too much of my self-esteem is wrapped up in other people's reactions to my work. People have bigger problems than this. That's true, people do have bigger problems than this, but still, it's gotta suck for the cast of Marvel's DEI-driven post-creative committee projects, expecting to be huge stars and sorted for life, but instead, the phone never rings, for they turned out to be the faces of a failure no one wants to be associated with. Still, it worked out for this particular actor, and he already has been cast as Booster Gold in James Gunn's DC universe, so we'll see how that works out. Someone else who switched sides, as it were, is Frank Grillo, currently Rick Flag Sr. in Gunn's DC universe, formerly Brock Rumlow aka Crossbones in the MCU. While he didn't have quite the negative experience of the other 2 actors just covered, he also did an interview with GQ, the highlights of which were also presented by comicbookmovie.com, where he said about his time in the MCU, I love them over at Marvel, and it's so great to see how successful everybody's become. But I hope they can get back to the glory of where they were and not just be spectacles that are there to make a lot of money from. In other words, he too is acknowledging that Marvel have lost their way, only contrary to what he seems to believe, they aren't making a lot of money at all. On the contrary, they're losing a lot of money, and the experiences of these actors showcase that something is very rotten in the entire Disney ecosystem. Let's see if anyone with the power to change it are able to admit what that is, and take the necessary actions to fix it. As for these actors, do you have sympathy with them and their struggles working for Disney? Let me know in the comments.